Hi guys, Vino here, coming at you with a video that, to be honest, it's one of those videos that I didn't realise I wanted to do. It's been something that's been in the back of my head for quite some time now. I just need the right motivation or encouragement to do this video. I do have a cup of coffee with me. I'm going to be taking swigs throughout this video, and I encourage you guys to go and get your own beverage of choice. Sit back, listen to what I have to say, and then hopefully we can get a discussion going in the comment section, and maybe at some point I will do a follow-up video or a live stream or have some kind of interaction with you guys over this. And what we're going to be talking about in this video is other people's tastes, other people's opinions, and the role of being a YouTuber or being an influencer, being a streamer, and what that means to other people, what that means to you, and what that brings with it. What on earth am I talking about, you may ask? So there is a YouTuber and Twitch streamer that I like to watch on a regular basis, Taffy. I will say there are times where I like to watch him for long periods of time. I then go months without watching him, and then watch him again. He is primarily known to be a Darkest Dungeon player. He played a lot of the original Darkest Dungeon, and when number 2 has recently come out, he's been playing a lot of that, which is what drew me back into watching his channel once again, or videos on his channel. He has also started playing a game recently called Inscription. So if you haven't heard, Inscription is a game that got launched on Steam and various other places. It's kind of taken a certain part of the gaming world by storm. So on its face, on face value, Inscription is a deck building kind of board game. But there's more to it. After so many hours, I'd say about 3 to 5 hours, the game switches up, should I say. I'm not going to say how it switches up because it'll be a spoiler, but the game switches up. And the game goes through 3 particular phases, and those phases are very different from previous phases and future phases and that kind of stuff. There has been a recent run of games like Super Hot, Pony Island, I'm trying to think of Evoland to a degree, that subverts expectation. The game comes, on face value, it claims to be or perceives to be one game and then will change what it is very quickly after that, or a few hours after that. These kind of games are getting more and more popular and more developed, so to speak, and a lot of them are developed by 1, 2, or maybe a team of people who have a particular vision. Now, David Mullins is the person who is the principal person behind Inscription, and a lot of people are enjoying what Inscription is doing. So how does this lead into opinions and projecting and things of that nature? So, the reason why I mentioned that Taffy likes to play Darkest Dungeon is Darkest Dungeon is not an easy game. It's a balls hard dungeon crawler that a lot of people have bounced off of because of its insane difficulty curve. The game does not hold your hand, and even when it does hold your hand, so to speak, it lets go of it very quickly and teaches you some harsh lessons, I suppose, with the game. Permadeath is a thing. The game is brutally difficult. There are mods that do circumnavigate or subdue the difficulty, but it's a very difficult game, and Bear played it for hundreds upon hundreds of hours, the original, with no mods, no cheats, no nothing, playing it as vanilla as possible, and completed the game on a few occasions. So Bear is no stranger when it comes to difficult games or difficult to work out games, because the thing about Darkest Dungeon is the different strategies, the different tactics take a while to perfect and to master. So when it comes to Inscription, when you first play the game, comes across as a deck building roguelike. So straight away, roguelikes are already quite hard because the whole point of a roguelike is to die, and when you die you get stronger. Binding of Isaac started this trend and has continued for many years with games like Dead Cells, Into the Gungeon. I'm trying to think of all the roguelikes, Rogue Legacy, all the roguelikes that come out. The whole point of a roguelike is to basically die, essentially. Dying powers you up. in a sense. There are more to some of those roguelites, but the whole point of them is dying is not supposed to be a punishment, but it's supposed to encourage you to keep playing. Now, depending on the roguelike, depends on whether that's encouraging, whether that motivates you, or whether that does completely the opposite and makes you bounce off the game. I'll be the first one to admit, it wasn't until Dead Cells came along that I truly understood what a roguelike is and why the mechanics, why the gameplay of a roguelike is so addicting and satisfying once you get it correct, once the game gels with you. Dead Cells is a Metroidvania roguelike side-scrolling action game. You know, it ticks all of my boxes. I didn't even know it would tick all of my boxes when I first bought it a few years back. It is easily one of my favourite games on the Switch and probably of all time. Probably one of my favourite roguelikes of all time. I delve into it here and there, love the game to bits, but I actually didn't understand the point of roguelikes until I played Dead Cells. So sometimes it just takes the right game to understand that particular genre and go, now I understand it. So the whole point of Inscription, when it first rears its head, is you play this card game and you're batting your head against an opponent with many different faces or masks, shall we say. And there Taffy was getting frustrated at the difficulty of Inscription. And if you read the comment section of Bear Taffy's videos, there are people that go into quite granular detail that they aren't happy with how much of a downer Bear Taffy gets about the game when it gets harder. And there are certain people that really enjoy the game that think you should push past some of the harder elements because of what the game ends up doing. As I said, it goes places, it shifts. Again, I'm not going to spoil what the game does. But a lot of people felt that Bear was being a downer. Now, I've watched the parts that people are saying that Bear's a downer. To me, he's not being a downer. He's being honest. He's being honest to himself. He's not pretending to like it because, you know, the people don't like it. Yes, he pushes past the bit he doesn't like, but then surely there are many games that people like that they push past a particular part because they want to get past that and enjoy the game as a whole. I'm currently playing through Metroid Dread for a second time on hard mode, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I did in the first time round. There were times during the first time round I was insanely frustrated with the game, and had I reviewed it at that time, I would have given it a far more negative review than I'm probably now going to give it playing it through a second time. So it just depends on your perspective at the time, where you are mindset wise, all those different things. This is where projecting comes into play. A lot of people are saying that it's a shame that Bear Taffy was such a downer on it, and they're projecting their own tastes onto Bear Taffy, saying that he has to enjoy it more because they enjoy the game, so Bear Taffy has to enjoy it. And I've never ever understood this concept. It seems nowadays, and I'm going to use the word snowflake because I don't have any other word to really use it. When it comes to fandoms, when it comes to things people like, they seem to get obsessed with it, or they seem to get so into it that if someone else doesn't like that thing, they feel personally wronged. They feel personally insulted by that person not liking that thing. Why? I've always been brought up that opinions, I wouldn't say they're be all end all, but opinions matter. Variety is the spice of life. If we were all the same, then life would be extremely boring. I myself have suffered this exact same thing on this very channel. There's been particular people that I'm not going to necessarily name that have in the past poked, prodded, have gone, oh, you're reviewing that, are you? Why are you reviewing that? That's for kids. Or, I don't like you reviewing that. Can you review something else for me, please? Some of my viewers may have noticed a trend on my videos that I no longer talk about the comment section that much, especially when it's a negative comment. I reply in the comment section and keep the comment section separate for my videos. And the reason for that is I wanted that segregation. I wanted to still enjoy doing what I want to do without necessarily catering to what my audience want. Now, there is a certain point where you do have to cater to what your audience wants, but if it goes against what you enjoy yourself, then what's the point at the end of the day? And I have been, I've gone against myself in the past to try and please people. And I don't, there's no point doing that. You just end up denying yourself or being in denial about yourself, about your interests, about your tastes. And that's no fun. Taking on other people's tastes isn't your tastes. And the reason why I'm going through all this and explaining all of this is I really want to be part of the change that lets people understand that opinion is an opinion. You don't have to share that opinion. The amount of people that when they're waiting for a review of a game and they're expecting the game to get an 8 or a 9 or a 10 and the game gets a 6 or a 7, they send death threats to the reviewer. They go, oh, how dare you? This isn't, or when a review goes against the zeitgeist. I can't remember the game this happened with recently, but a particular site went against the zeitgeist. The game was well received from everybody. A particular website, I think it was Game Informer, I can't remember correctly, don't hold me to that. The reviewer on Game Informer gave the game a far more negative review than any other publication did. And it was swamped. There were people on Metacritic slagging off, smear campaigning, basically, Game Informer, if it is Game Informer. This publication going out of their way to try and sully the reviewer's reputation and things like that, just because a game they were looking forward to didn't get the review score they wanted it from that particular publication, despite that IGN, GameSpot, Rock, Paper, Shotgun, they're still going. Any other website was giving it got massively good reviews on Steam, and yet this one place didn't give it the review other people felt it deserved, so they review bombed that site, I suppose, for lack of a better term. They went after the reviewer. A review is an opinion piece. A review is an editorial. An editorial is a opinion piece. It really gets my goat when people get so uppity, or there are games that I don't like. The Force Awakens. I've gone on many different tangents how I absolutely despise The Force Awakens. I think The Last of Us, the first Last of Us, is grossly overrated. Grossly overrated. Does it deserve the perfect 10 it got from most places? The game worked pretty damn well, pushed the PS3 to its limits, almost a breaking point. But a lot of the tropes, a lot of the story beats in The Last of Us have been done before. All Naughty Dog did was take various other aspects of stories from other games and movies and TV shows, cram them together with The Last of Us, and made a survival horror game with a different virus or fungi in that particular game, and went, yep, this is our version of this. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think The Last of Us is a bad game. In fact, it's quite a good game. I just think it's grossly overrated. I got halfway through The Last of Us 2 and bounced off it immediately because of something happened in the game that I'm not going to spoil. However, I've come up against things in the past. A very good friend of mine didn't speak to me for 3 days because I didn't like The Force Awakens. At the end of the day, it's my opinion. I have someone who's very special to me, who's a massive Star Wars fan. And they understand that me not liking The Force Awakens is my opinion. It's my perspective. And I give them my reasons why I don't like it. And they've turned around and gone, yeah, I understand. I completely understand for those reasons. And that's what I don't get. If someone can come up with a reason why they don't like something or do like something, if it's something you don't like and they come up with quite valid reasons, Does it really matter to you at the end of the day? And please, for the life of God, stop projecting your tastes on other people. Razor Wire Reviews, another person called Luke, who is someone who I've come to respect. Sorry about that. I've come to respect when it comes to his YouTube channel and things of that nature. I'm just going to put my phone on silent so we don't get interrupted again. My apologies for that one. He loves The Last Jedi, thinks it's a masterpiece. I think he's, not me, sorry. A lot of people think he's gone a bit haywire. The amount of hate The Last Jedi got from fans, actually I think more from critics than did fans. But anyway, how maligned that film was for everybody else. And yet, there's someone who's like, I really like the film. I think the film's a masterpiece. It was everything I was looking for in a film. And when I watched his video, where he'd literally just come out of the cinema and goes, that was amazing. I was waiting for the other boot to drop. I was waiting for him to reveal that it's a really bad film and how the hell could they do that with all the Star Wars characters. But no, he was being genuine. He's done many different videos on The Last Jedi, some upwards of 3 hours in length. He genuinely likes the film and has given reasons as to why he likes the film, yet people still shit upon him. Why? What's the point? If the guy likes the film and you don't like it, people are allowed to have differing opinions, and people have projected their tastes onto Luke, and not just Luke, various people. They projected their taste on that and gone, well, why don't you like that? I like that, so you should like that. That's not how it works. Transplanting your tastes onto somebody else, it's just going to create a dissonance in them. It's going to create a psychological dissonance in them that's going to end up causing potential psychological damage. There is evidence in the reviewing industry when it comes to games, movies, music, of reviewers, of editors, of writers having to take a step back because death by 1,000 paper cut syndrome is the best way I can explain it and describe it. It's just they are fed up of releasing a review and just being crapped upon for it because it's their opinion. Yes, when it comes to music reviews, they're a bit hoity-toity. I don't understand half the metaphors and idioms they use in music reviews. But at the end of the day, it's up to them. I hated Bullet for My Valentine's Gravity album. It just sounded like a less good Linkin Park to me, to be honest with you. Their most recent album, completely different to anything else they've done. I'm actually enjoying some of it. Gravity, I hate. Can't stand Gravity because they're just trying to be Linkin Park. That's my opinion. Does it mean someone who loves Gravity means they're an alien that I should hate upon them? Not at all. That's entirely their opinion, and if people like Gravity, then kudos to you. I'm very much happy, glad that you enjoy that album. It's not for me. And that's what it comes down to. We all have our own tastes, and some things are for some people, some things are for not. And there is a Venn diagram in which tastes overlap, but quite often they're not. And if you are a geek, a nerd, or someone who has very strong opinions and taste, you are going to come up against someone who doesn't like what you like, and you've got to be an adult and understand that there's got to be compromise with that. And I just see this all over the place on YouTube. I see it on Facebook, on Steam, and all different places, and every single time I'm like, why are people like this? I don't get it. Like, I think it's downstairs now. It's over here. Metroid Dread. I love, if you couldn't tell, I damn well love that game. Probably one of my favourite games on the Switch in all of its lifespan. There are people that turn around to me and say, probably not going to be my game. Have I immediately gone, oh, how dare you, you know, this game is utter perfection, everyone should play it? It's reflected in the figures that it sold just over 1 million units worldwide, give or take, just under 1.5 million units worldwide. It doesn't have the same pull than the likes of Mario or Zelda do, and that is fine. I enjoy the game and I understand why people don't enjoy the game. The game is rock hard at times, and the Metroidvania genre in general is not an easy genre to get into if you don't understand what you're supposed to do in those games. A lot of them don't hold your hand that well, Hollow Knight. So I can understand why people will bounce off it and it's not their game. To me, Metroid is a mature Nintendo game, not mature in terms of age rating, mature in terms of the audience they're going for. They're not going for the kid audience they normally go for them with their Mario games and their Zeldas and their Donkey Kongs and all that kind of stuff. Did I merely crap upon that person? No, I tried to give my opinions as to why I liked it. Yes, you could say I tried to influence their opinion a little bit into buying it, but if they still turn and said, nah, I'm not going to buy it, that's entirely their business. If they don't wish to buy the game, that's not a hill to die on. There are some hills to die on, that's not necessarily what one to die on. I just wanted to do this video, get this off my chest and talk about this because I've wanted to talk about something like this for a while and this is my opportunity to do so. So thank you very much for listening to this video. If you got to the end, would you please put pineapple into the comment section down below so I know that you got to the very end of the video, and thank you very much for that. Could you also leave a like or a dislike? I say dislike, they are getting rid of them at some point. And if you wish to see more of these videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's big, it's red, it's free. And don't forget to ring the bell icon and you'll be notified every time I upload a video. Hopefully you enjoyed this more discussion based video, and hopefully I can get a discussion going in the comment section down below. I think the next video is going to be a revisited on my Friday the 13th Scream Factory box set, because I was meant to do that on Halloween and completely forgot. Anyway guys, until next time, please take care and as always enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.